Self-esteem is a topic that is discussed among young people and usually in schools. It often goes unnoticed in other environments. Educators, mental health experts, and psychologists all agree that self-esteem is extremely important to our well-being. It's not something that we usually talk about. So today on our show, we'll be talking about self-esteem with Juanita Gaddy, who is a success coach for over 20 years. She's also going to tell us a little bit about how self-esteem affects men and women, and also give us some help about how do I help someone who I care about or who I love who may be struggling with low self-esteem. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I hear success coach, and maybe our viewers are trying to say, what is a success coach? Can you just describe that to us?
Oh, absolutely. I am a certified coach in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and Teens, so I help people get unstuck in life. Yes, and I also am a Mary Kay Senior Sales Director of 26 years.
Right, so it sounds like you have a lot of experience about working with people with low self-esteem, and in successful people usually have some sort of high self-esteem. So what's the difference actually between men and women? Which group has the highest level of self-esteem?
Believe it or not, men have higher self-esteem than women, and I think it's the way men are raised. They're exposed to sports, a competitive nature. They're told that they're amazing, and many times we talk to boys about being fire chiefs or police officers or lawyers and doctors. And when I started years ago, I remember hearing a coach say that women make 50 cents on a man's dollar. And now, this was 20 years ago, now we're at 75 cents on a man's dollar. So self-esteem and self-worth go hand in hand sometimes. And your self-worth and your net worth is very, very connected as well.
Right, so for women, I know I can see why they're low self-esteem. But growing up, boys are usually encouraged by the mom, and the girls are, what's happening to us?
Well, now it's different, but there was times when we were put in the kitchen. We got the kitchenette for Christmas, and
I remember that.
Yeah,
I love my kitchen.
I
went food shopping.
Yeah, I did, and I also baked those little cupcakes that nobody ate. But I know also now that some of the greatest chefs are men, and now I think things are changing. We are going to really narrow that gap. I think women are now being affirmed and validated, and they're feeling good about who they are. And mothers and dads are realizing their daughters are, important, and they have to feed them and also nurture them in the self-esteem arena.
Just like the young boys. I mean, so we need to be, So how does a person really develop low self-esteem anyway?
Well, again, childhood. It's usually something that happens in a child's life, from birth to to a teenage or maybe even older, but mostly it's a calamity. It could be abuse or neglect. It could be sexual abuse, anything that kind of rocks their world. Many times, in the 7 Habits, we learn a lot about the 3 stages of being a human being. Like you're born dependent. Okay, a baby is totally dependent on an adult, on a guardian, and then you become independent, and we see that in our teenagers, of course. And then you become interdependent, where you need people to grow. So that dependent child, if something changes and they feel or they're abused, or if they're neglected and not getting the love and attention, then the way self-esteem means the way I value myself, the way I appreciate myself.
So it's inside work.
It's an internal job. And so when that is tampered with and it's not totally developed, and they don't feel the security, and they don't feel the love, the love from an adult or a parent or guardian, then they, they internalize that, and they decide that maybe they're not lovable. And that's where self-esteem is
sometimes we feel like we're not enough. I mean, I struggle with low self-esteem, but people would say, what? Like, really? I was like, yeah, no, I struggle with that. I'm an ongoing struggle, but people don't see what I went through to get here today. So the self-esteem inside, and am I ready enough? The enough.
Exactly.
So those inner tapes that are inside. So
absolutely.
So it's actually from being raised up in a home where, like you said, that it shifted.
Yes.
And I didn't get all the affirmation that I needed
Exactly, and it can happen in a divorce, separation, anything that changes the family life and makes that child feel there's something wrong, and it could be their fault. So I too had low self-esteem because of something in my childhood, and a good parent will detect it. And therapy or whatever, you know, and there's many things you can do to correct it.
I think that they always say, you know, you lack confidence, and it was like, okay, yeah, but I also have low self-esteem. But I'm not sure the two are really the same, confidence and
they're very connected. Self-esteem has to do with how we value ourselves. Self-confidence has to do with how we the abilities and the things that we do well, you know, and they are like brothers and sisters. They're very connected.
I mean, there's some things that I don't do well, and I'm not confident in it, so I ask people to help me when my things, but it doesn't, because I don't know how to, that doesn't lower my self-esteem about myself.
Exactly.
I've got past that. Because I cannot do everything.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to take, you know, my worth is not what I can't do. My worth is based on what I'm able and what I'm gifted to do. But what if, you know, what if you're with someone who you care about, who you love, and they're struggling with low self-esteem? So the next question, how would you support someone who may be struggling with low self-esteem? Because it's not something, like I said, we don't talk about this when we become adults. We call it something else, like, come on, get with it, let's go. We don't understand, how do we communicate with a loved one who is an adult and is struggling with low self-esteem?
That's a great question. Number one, validate them. And constantly validate them, let them know how great they are to you, and not necessarily connected to what they're doing, but they're being. We're human beings, so let's focus on the being part. Not that they clean a kitchen or they cook for you. Oh, I love that.
Because it's duties.
Yes, those are responsibilities, but that I just love you because I love you.
And I like you the way you are.
Exactly. Affirming them is so important. And another key thing that works very well is remind them of their past victories. As adults, we have victories, and sometimes we forget that, and we forget how great we were, and you know, when we maybe cooked that Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe when we got that promotion, and we forget things. So remind your loved one, your spouse, of those past victories. Let them know that there's a inner rock star in them.
You're my hero.
Yeah, you're my hero, and that, you know, I love what Albert Einstein says, everyone is a genius. And he said that he was a genius. So tell them you're a genius.
So kind of like focus on what they're good at.
Yes.
And compliment them. So I think like even younger, we're always getting the attention of what we're not good at. So then it's like, there we go again. But even as adults, it's still like you still have that little inner child inside of you that wants to be affirmed.
Exactly, and you can.
And we're human.
Exactly.
I don't think this stops when we're young. And we're adults. I want to be affirmed too. I want my friends, and you know, I have a good circle of people around me. So that goes to our next question about having people around you. What are some steps that you can take to create a healthy, high self-esteem culture, whether it's at home or work, or just like even like in your place of worship, even there in those cultures, in those communities that you find yourself in. So what are some steps that you can take to create a healthy environment?
Well, I love the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Homes and Highly Effective Families. There's a book out that I think everyone should read, every parent should read, called 7 Habits of Highly Effective Family, and it's written by Stephen Covey, and he talks about creating a healthy self-esteem, happy home. Number one is to be proactive. It only takes one proactive person out of the family, members of the family, to start a revolution, as I put it. And I do a lot of family coaching, and it only takes one person to make the phone call that we need help. And being proactive means I'm responsible, that I'm going to work on me, and I'm going to raise my self-esteem, and I'm going to make it like a movement in my home.
So you're saying that, I am one of them. So I came from a family of 7 children, and out of all my siblings, I'm the one who walked away and said, I'm going to change the history of our family. So that you say that, I was like, okay, I did that. I was like, wow.
It works.
So, and I see that even my family members and some of my siblings have followed my path, and now their children have followed, and they're getting an education, and they're not in a home that we were raised in. So that is definitely, that is it. One person and that family needs to say, I had enough, and then
I want to make a change. Number 2 is habit 2 talks about begin with the end in mind, and that means be a visionary. Have the family sit down and do a goal poster. Cut out pictures of the vacation that you want to go on, the next house you're going to live, and make them. You're forcing your family to think in a very healthy, self-esteem way when they think my future is bright, and you know, have everyone participate on the floor, you know, and also have weekly meetings where you come together and you talk about the chores and things that you have to do, but also you talk about the next, you know, event you're going to be part of, the next concert you're going to. What can we do as a family to have fun? Habit 3 talks about first things first. Have a calendar in your kitchen, and always like little comments. Billy got an A+. Here's his.
Right.
You know, put his
it's like,
test
okay, everybody should like, let's have pizza. Let's go celebrate.
Yes.
I do that with my daughter. We've always, I only have one child, but we used to celebrate all her victories. Like, come on, let's go. We're going to this. We're going to get a pedi. Let's go get a mani. Let's go get a massage. Let's go get something. It's a celebration. So I didn't even realize I was actually doing that.
That's habit.
But that's the culture.
Exactly.
So now at work. So that's at home. So what about at work? How could we build our work environments that are like highly self-affirmed?
Well, in work as well, you can create win-wins. Habit 4 talks about creating win-wins, like, you know, knowing people's personalities, and like there's some, you know, I like the DISC. You know, dominant people.
I did the DISC,
And there's and honoring them in their person. I mean, most bosses are dominant, you know, but you may have some steady people who love family. And, you know, comment, Mary, what did you do this weekend, you know, with the new dog and the new baby? You know, let people, like, really visit in their personality. Also, know people's love language. You know, love, like,
we do that.
The 5 love languages. Know who loves the hugs. I hug you. Who loves to spend time with you. Who wants to, a gift. You know, do service together, and also to you know, public recognition, being able to say, oh, this person, your Thanksgiving dinner was delicious, but say it in front of 20 people.
They like that. Now some people don't, so we're speaking in different love languages, and I know we do that in our coaching groups, as we in our stress coaching, because it's the inner conflict that causes so much stress in our lives. And one of the things that we always tell people to do is to do the love languages, and I tell them take it home and have the whole family do it. When they come back, they're like, Kim, this was hysterical. This is so right. Now I get it. So I had one couple say to us in a group that said, you know, honey, I'm so sorry that, you know, I thought you appreciated acts of service, but yet you wanted quality time with me. But I was so wiped out and tired because I did all of this work for you that I didn't give you what you really wanted. And he really just right there and right in the coaching group, and I was like, oh my God, this was, and she was like, I am so sorry too. It was like, oh my gosh, it was just a little thing, understanding. And in the workplace, they also talk about the appreciation. So you have to build up the appreciation. So this has been interesting.
And then also the last 2 habits, synergizing and just knowing that diversity is good, and bringing people in with their own characteristics and their own personalities, and celebrating people who may be different, and your you know, how you can build something together even if you're different. But I love the last habit, talking about sharpening a saw. That, you know, even as a family and even at work, what can we do to build us up? The 4 dimensions is our intellect, our brain, you know, our emotions. How do we become strong in the emotional arena? How do we become physically strong, like, you know, or exercising, working out with the family, on vacation, doing fun, you know, activities physically, and spiritual. Your spiritual connection is very important. And so I'm telling you, if you do these habits at home, at work, you know, if you are the leader, and you will have so many people have a paradigm shift in their self-esteem, you know, being, and they will appreciate you so much for being the one that started.
One takeaway, I mean, we just had a lot of takeaways, but one takeaway, let's talk, you know, we didn't cover like the child, growing a child up in the way that they should go.
Well, can I just share the story that's from the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Family? And it's a true story, because Stephen Covey collected all these great stories about family. And he talked about a husband and his wife, and they realized their 5 kids were getting a little distant. When they got home from school, they would all go to their rooms and watch TV. And they wanted to bring the family together. They wanted to build self-esteem at the children, and they wanted them to start having family, you know, memories and so forth. When they grow up, they could say they had a great family. So the father this stuff. We were going to go on a vacation, and they had weekly meetings. And they started planning their vacation, and he ordered T-shirts, these yellow T-shirts, and the back it said Smith family. That was the last name. So they went away and they drove on this field trip, and they literally people were like commenting that even when they got gas, the guy said, "Oh my God, you guys look amazing. You look like a basketball team." And years went by, and 2 years passed, and they got so close, but then they had horrible news that the youngest, the 5-year-old, had leukemia. Oh. And when they all went to the hospital and went to the doctors, and the doctor said, with the chemo, we're going to take him to death's door. We're going to literally, you know, chemo and all. And he's so little, we don't know how if he's going to live or not. And long story short, they went for weeks with him in the hospital, and finally, the last week, he said to his father in the bed, "Daddy, Daddy, bring me my shirt. Bring me my yellow shirt."
Oh my gosh.
So they all went home, and they all showed up at the hospital with those yellow shirts on, and they put his on. And that week, it was blood on it. He threw up on it. But he wore that shirt, and he lived. He lived.
Wow.
And got better. And
just because of all that energy,
self-esteem, the self-love from the family. True story.
Right, wow.
So it works.
It does work.
It works. And so that is my takeaway. Build a strong family. Build self-esteem.
Do things together. Plan things together. Find out what everybody likes. And I know it's inexpensive. You don't need to be doing, you know, $12,000 vacations. I mean, you can go to parks and day trips, we call them, you know, day vacations. There's plenty of places to go. And I love the T-shirt idea. That was cute.
Yes.
So again, thank you so much for being on the show with us, and I wish you all the well. Our next guest is Diane Marinelli. She's a licensed cosmetologist and a beauty consultant, and she's here with us right now. So Diane, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Just tell us, how long have you been doing cosmetology?
I'd say about 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of women, you know, with low self-esteem come and sit in your chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one reason why I love what I do is because I can see that transformation in women.
Right.
You know, when they're sitting there getting a consultation and the questions that I ask them, to express what they see in the mirror, things they like, what they don't like. So I have the opportunity to see what they could look like.
Right.
And that's what I aim to do, you know, to enhance them, show them what a little change can do, can make them feel better about themselves. Because a lot of women don't have the time, take the time to be able to go get their hair done, their nails done, because they're busy with their family, their children.
Right.
You know, it's all about others.
Right.
But women need to take time to take care of themselves.
Right.
So I love that opportunity that I can do that.
Right.
And see the transformation is...
So we're really excited because we have a project that we're doing, and one of our clients from Power of One, a coachee, is receiving a makeover by you. And I'm excited to see the transformation that you're going to do for her. I know what you can do, because I remember the first time you ever said, "Kim, you're going to really cut your hair short." I'm like, "Yeah." You're like, "You really, Kim? You're going to cut this hair off?" I was like, "Yeah." And you did, and I knew that I shouldn't have, but I did it anyway. So this person that we're going to do the makeover, they've never had one before. So it's going to be really exciting to see how you're going to work this out in her. But Juanita said, just self-esteem is something that goes on the inside. You know, we can go massages and get these makeovers, but the real work is on the inside. But I know this makeover is going to do what? Boost her self-esteem.
Yes.
To maybe taking the next step and seeing her worth in it. So, yeah. So anything that you want to add to someone listening right now who maybe has low self-esteem, their hair is really floppy, they look in the mirror and they're saying, "I look like I'm tired, I look like I don't, you know what, I didn't like what I looked. I didn't like who I saw in the mirror." And that's when I finally changed. I had to look in the mirror one day and say, "You know what? I don't like what I see. I don't even know who that is." And then I started my transformation. So do you see a lot of that?
Well, I would say take the step to go out and visit a salon or visit you know, a friend or someone who can help you with that.
Right.
And that's the first step, to go out and do it. And, you know, allow that for yourself. Give yourself permission to do something good for yourself.
Right.
Because it does make you feel better. You look in the mirror and you say, wow, I like the way I look. And that's going to match up. Sometimes what you look like on the outside makes you feel better on the inside.
Right.
And people take notice. And there's nothing better to build your self-esteem when somebody says, wow, you look really nice today.
Right. Hey, you changed your hair color. It looks great, you know?
Yeah, so...
We need that. We need those compliments.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing this makeover.
I'm looking forward
Thank
to doing it.
you so much for being on the show with us. Again, Diane, thank you. And I'm I'm really excited to see what our client is going to look like at this makeover. So stay with us. We have more show to show you about this makeover. So thanks again for listening. Welcome everyone. We're here today at Makeover Day. We're really excited. I'm here with Bernadette Nesmith and Diane Marinelli, our licensed cosmetologist and beauty consultant, and she's going to be giving us this makeover today. But before the makeover, Bernadette, what does it feel like to be getting a makeover on Valentine's Day? Is it exciting?
It's very exciting, very exciting. I wanted this, I needed this, and you brought it to me, so here I am.
That was exciting. So you're a coaching client, right?
Yes.
So you're in one of the workshops.
Yes.
And this segment is on self-esteem, so this was like a perfect fit for you.
Definitely.
A new hairdo, a new look. And Diane, this is the first time you two have been meeting, so I know that you don't really know each other yet, but I know Diane, and I'm very confident. But we're going to start this makeover with a consultation.
Yes.
That's how we normally do it. So you're going to get a consultation, and I know the two of you have not met, have not talked. So she's going to ask you some questions about, what you're looking to get out of, and to be honest with yourself. Now, today is your day, is Valentine's Day, and we really want you to be really open with Diane and tell her exactly what kind of look you want.
Okay.
But don't cut it short.
No.
No, I promise.
No. Okay, so I'm going to get out of the way. And I just wish you all the best, both of you. And I will come back in and out, and we'll just keep track of this thing, okay?
Okay.
So, to the makeover.
What do you see? What would you like to have done?
This gray gone, some height, some face frame,
layers.
maybe leave,
Yeah.
leave the length, just give me more layers if...
I could
You know,
do that. I
opposed-
could be the layer queen. I'm the
Nice.
layer queen.
Good.
Yeah, you have beautiful hair. I love
you.
these curls.
Thank you.
Natural waves. All right, so how do you like the tone of your hair? You like it in the reddish tone?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's try to keep something more low maintenance, right?
Yes.
That you can take care of yourself easily and that you feel comfortable in.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I would suggest keeping a color close to your tone, okay, covering your regrowth, matching it and freshening the color. And then perhaps maybe a couple highlights around the front.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Just to break it up, make you
That
look
sounds
bright.
very exciting.
Okay,
yes.
so that's what we're going to get started with. Bernadette, you were the perfect client.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for allowing me to work on you.
I
do this.
It was a shot in the dark. We never met until today, right?
Right?
And I took the chance, and I'm so happy with it.
When you saw yourself in the mirror with the makeup, and your hair wasn't done yet, and you almost broke down.
Yeah,
and you wanted to
I
cry.
tried not to cry because I didn't want to ruin what she did to me. It's amazing how people can make you feel about yourself. Yeah.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Looks good.
I mean, not just the makeup alone, just the...
But how do you feel? Like you hung out with us for how many hours? We were here for a couple hours. And you're
yeah.
here in an environment where people really have your back. We want to see you look beautiful. How does that feel? Does that help boost your self-esteem?
Absolutely.
Knowing that
Absolutely.
this person is not just, you're not just a client. You're someone that she's really pouring into, and she saw what you couldn't see,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So
I never thought.
I'm going to do my jumping jacks.
So we're really excited. You look phenomenal. You look beautiful, and we want to see you, Bernadette, to look like this. From this moment on, this is your rock star look. I mean, I know some days you won't be able to.
Of course not,
but
it gives me a reason to, because if you don't know how to do it,
right. And she just showed you some.
and you showed me pointers on how to do it, and it's not so gaudy.
Yeah,
Right.
It's everyday makeup.
I feel that I look beautiful.
Yeah.
So happy Valentine's Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette. Yes. So that's the end of our
You want to do the
show.
little spin?
Good, go ahead, spin her around. This is the end of our show. Thank you so much for watching. Conversations That Inspires, and this episode was our first episode, and it was self-esteem affects men and women, and just a little makeover just to really help kickstart transformation. So thanks for listening. Until next time, thanks for
Thanks for everything.
everything.
Okay.